Hello, Aries, and welcome to the rest of June reading for you. Um, let's just dive in. The first cards that we're going to pull for you, Aries, are going to be cards of where you are at now, what's going on for the Aries right now as I do this reading. All right. Woo, you got a lot going on. Like a lot going on. All right. So the first card out is the Two of Cups. Looks like this might be a relationship reading. Two of Cups, then we've got the Knight of Swords, and then we've got the Lovers. If I can actually get the card picked up here, it flew into my computer. And then we also have the Ace of Swords and the Seven of Swords. Wow, you've got a lot of swords coming up here. You've got a lot going on in your mind right now. Um, the swords are representative of our minds, our mental acuity, what's going on in our thoughts. So the Two of Cups and the Lovers are both cards about relationships. They're both cards about two people coming together. For those of you who are already in committed relationships, this may be about a change or a shift happening in your relationship. With all of these swords coming up, the Knight of Swords, the Ace of Swords, and the Seven of Swords, I want to say that it appears as though something new has come up and come into your life at some point in time. And it's causing a little bit of strife between you and your partner. For those of you who are currently seeking new relationships and new romantic partners, I want to say that this would be a time for you to exercise some caution with regards to some of the people that are coming into your life at this time. Then why am I saying this? Well, like I said, you've got the Two of Cups and you've got the Lovers coming up here. And in between that, you have the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords is the cocky knight. He is the knight that comes riding in with his sword held high in the air. Come hell or high water, he is coming at you. He doesn't have a care in the world. He can be, what's the word I'm looking for? He can be really rather impulsive. And so that's the energy that's coming towards you. So if you are seeking someone new, Aries, there's a possibility that somebody may have come kind of rushing in at you in a very impulsive way. It may have happened, I don't know, on a casual night out. The energy that I'm picking up for you guys is that the way that the person may have approached you single Aries out there, you may have seen it as being charming because the person was so forward, but the way that they acted, like at least if your friends witnessed what happened, may have been almost verging on inappropriate because the person that came at you was so formal and um not formal, but um forward. They were forward almost to the point of being pushy. So watch for those kinds of energies. I want to say for those Aries who are currently in relationships that these cards are indicating that there may be some impulsivity happening in your relationship right now that may be making you feel a little bit uncomfortable. You also have the Ace of Swords here. Now, Ace of Swords are typically about new beginnings, new ideas in particular, especially new intellectual juices flowing. But then you have the Seven of Swords coming in here, and the Seven of Swords is a card of deception and deceit. So, adding the Ace of Swords and the Seven of Swords into your reading here, Aries, along with the Lovers, the Two of Cups, and this Knight of Swords, I want to say that if you are looking at starting something new with someone new right now, be really, really cautious as to whether that person is the person that you're looking for, or whether the saying that's coming into my mind right now is People come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And what I'm picking up for you, Aries, with this particular spread is that whoever came in for the single Aries right now may be the person coming in with a lesson, right? It may be somebody coming in with a reason, and they're not your season or your lifetime. So just be aware of that. And for those Aries who are already in committed relationships, these cards may be indicating that there's a shift in the dynamic of your relationship at this time that may be uncomfortable. It may end up being for the best, but initially it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel like it came out of nowhere. The Knight of Swords is like something coming out of nowhere. And it may be that there is a new suggestion to make some changes in the dynamics of your relationship, but you're not really comfortable with it. And it's bringing in some thoughts of deception or deceit. So, kind of an uncomfortable situation here for you, Aries, going through the month of June. Let's take a look at what you are focusing on and where you're putting your attentions. Because as we know, our thoughts create our realities. And so let's see what you are working on, manifesting, focusing on, see what's coming up here for you for Aries. Right. So we've got two cards out. One of them flipped out. It landed in my lap. And the other one is here. The other one did come out in the reversed position. So let's see if it's appropriate to read it that way. I usually try not to, but yeah, the Princess of Autumn. Princess of Autumn is about good things, well thought out plans that go perfectly. However, it did come out in the reversed for you, Aries. So I'm thinking the Princess of Autumn is also about digging deeper and doing some more research before we are reactive to something. And you look at the picture here, the fairy on this picture is in like a library type setting, indicating doing some research before there is a reaction to something. So, with regards to what you're focusing on, unfortunately, this card is indicating that you need to be diving into getting more information before you take action on something. You also have the moon coming up in what you are focusing on. Now, the moon asks us to pay attention to our dreams. Oftentimes, dream time becomes really, really important to us when the moon appears in a reading. The moon also reminds us of cycles. Sorry if you notice me sitting here frantically scratching at my ankles. It's because it's mosquito season in Alberta, Canada, and I have been eaten alive. All right. So, the moon, getting back to the moon. The moon reminds us of the cycles that happen in our lives. So, going back to this relationship aspect here that you've got going on, I want to say that this uncomfortable feeling that's coming in about relationships for you, it's a cycle. It's something that you need to experience at this time. It's something that you need to go through. And again, I've got that saying coming to mind to repeat to you, Aries, that people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I'm sensing that someone has come into your lives right now for a reason. They are not there for the season. They are not there for the lifetime. They are there because there is a phase or a cycle or a lesson that you need to learn at this time. And once you learn it, that person's going to go, and all of this uncomfortable, itchy sweater feeling is going to start to dissipate for you. Also, you have the Seven of Swords coming here in what you are where you're at now. And as I mentioned, the Seven of Swords speaks to deception or deceit, somebody in your midst who's maybe not being as open and honest as they could. The moon coming in what you're focusing on may indicate that there are two sides to every story. Right? The moon has her dark side and her light side. So just be aware of that. And that may be why you were getting the Princess of Autumn in the reverse here, indicating that perhaps you don't have both sides of the story. You don't have the dark side of the story, or maybe you don't have the light side of the story. And so you need to dig deeper into that before you make any major decisions or choices at this time. I wouldn't be making any major decisions or choices at this time, Aries. Let's dive into your difficult influences. Pull a couple of cards for difficult influences for Aries. Oh, Queen of Wands coming out. Queen of Wands is the Queen of Fire. She is the Queen of Action. And the Queen of Wands coming up for you in the difficult influences. Oh, there's a card that's going to fall. There we go. Is indicating that perhaps because of all this other stuff that's going on for you, you're not feeling as motivated as you could or as you should feel at this time. I get this sense, Aries, that for many of you, you were looking forward to June. You were looking into the summer months, looking forward to vacations, possibly a summer romance. And it's just not feeling like it's going to pan out or play out the way that you had thought that it was going to. You had all sorts of plans, and this card coming up in your difficult influences really is indicating that something that you had planned is on the back burner temporarily. It's not permanent. Also, coming up in your difficult influences, you have the Five of Swords. Now, the Five of Swords has very, very similar energy to the Seven of Swords that you already have here in your reading. Five of Swords is about feeling like things are not quite right in the world for you. This is coming up in your difficult influences. It is rubbing you the wrong way. It's something that you're really not comfortable with right now. And then in your difficult influences, you have the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is about walking away from something that no longer serves you. This may be walking away from a partner, a business partner, maybe walking away just from a dynamic in a relationship. That's possible as well. It might not be that you have to walk away from an entire relationship, but it might be that you need to set some fresh new boundaries and you're struggling with that. The Eight of Cups can represent boundaries. It can represent not not allowing someone to continue to walk on us, and then we walk away from people that are doing that to us. So overall, this is panning out to be a difficult reading for you, Aries, and yet I think that there's positivity in here in that you are in a learning phase. Don't forget that right at the beginning of June here, we've had the what's it called? The parade of planets where I think it's six or maybe even seven planets in our solar system have lined up in a way that they don't normally line up. And so it's pulling a lot of us in different directions, and it's pulling a lot of us into learning some lessons that we had been procrastinating learning for quite some time. So take a look at that, Aries. Let's dive into messages from the universe, messages the universe wants Aries to hear at this time. All right. So, appreciate your talents is one of the messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. Yes. With the way that this reading is going for you, Aries, I'm getting the sense that you may be feeling down on your luck. You may be feeling like you're not good enough. You may be feeling like, oh, things are just not going right. Appreciate your talents. Practice gratitude every day. And remember, there is only one of you, and you are special. I want to repeat that. There is only one of you and you are special. So appreciate your talents. Not only, I want to go one step further here. Don't just appreciate your talents, dive into them. and nurture them and practice them and get them out into the world. You were given certain specific special talents so that you could share them with the world. So, Aries, do so, please. I want to share with you something that was shared with me by one of my mentors recently. I'm not going to use any names because I don't know how they would feel about me sharing this. But it came to me as I was looking at this card on your behalf, Aries. So, here's the story. A couple was married for quite some time, and the female in the couple had never sung for her husband, ever. He had never heard her singing voice. She loved to sing, but she always sang in private because she was embarrassed, because she just didn't feel comfortable, because it was something she wanted to keep hidden. And one day she was at home and she was singing, and her husband came home and he heard her singing, and her voice was absolutely beautiful. And it brought tears to his eyes. But he also got angry. And the reason that he got angry was because he was upset that she wasn't sharing her talent with the world. Something that Creator had given her with the intent of her sharing that talent with the world. And he told her that. And she began singing in public. She began practicing, and she began to get more comfortable with using her voice, sharing her voice, sharing a talent that was given to her by Creator. So I'm sharing that with you, Aries, in the hopes that you will appreciate your talents and really recognize how special and important you are. It may be that the person that's come to you right now is kind of pushing you, pushing your buttons in a way that the lesson that you need to learn is similar to that story that I just shared with you about the couple and him never having heard her voice, and yet he was actually not only touched by her voice but almost angry because she hadn't shared it. So I encourage you, Aries, to really dive deep. What is your talent? And if you're not sharing it, figure out a way to get it out there to the masses. And maybe this person that's come in that is making you feel uncomfortable is the catalyst, right? Whenever a catalyst comes into our life, it makes us uncomfortable, and yet it also allows us to learn lessons and then get our talents out into the world. All right, love is your energy, Aries. This is the other message from the universe for you. Love is your energy. Yes. And given that you have the Two of Cups and the Lovers, I got nothing more to say on that one. Really, seriously. All right, let's dive into what is coming up unexpected for you. Unexpected for Aries for June, for the remaining days in June. What's coming up? Woo! Apparently a lot. All right, so we have 4 cards that have come out here for you. I'm just going to pick them up in the order in which they came out. You have consciousness. This is the Ace of Swords. Remember, you already have the Ace of Swords in your reading. Right all the way back here, I'm going to remind you. Ace of Swords. This is what that little guy looks like. Ace of Swords. Now, remember what I said about the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is about new ideas being downloaded to us that we are supposed to be getting out into the world. Maybe practicing some new talents and getting those out into the world as well. You have adventure coming out here. Life is an adventure. Accept it. One of the things that's coming up for me, Aries, is that there's a lot of change happening for you right now. The cards are showing me there's a lot of change happening for you right now. And change is uncomfortable. And so some of us shy away from that. We withdraw from that. We decide to put the Queen of Wands into our difficult influences, indicating that we're not really feeling motivated right now. Yeah, we don't want to move forward because, oh my God, there might end up being adventure in our lives. So, Aries, get out there, be adventurous, have some fun, because that's your next card is the playfulness card. Oh my goodness. Mhm. I also want to point out that you have the Knight of Swords in your where you are at now. This is the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. You have two more knights here, indicating what? What's indicating? Oh, a lot of male presence here, possibly a new partner coming in. Oh, but that's not all. We have one more card here in your unexpected. It's the Knight of Swords. You have 4 knights in your reading so far, and we're not finished yet. 4 knights in your reading. That's a whole lot of young masculine energy, young determined energy. Yes, there's some immaturity there with playfulness and adventure. Yes, there is some impulsivity there, getting wrapped up in your mind and being impulsive. Maybe not thinking things all the way through before you actually go through with them, or maybe overthinking things before you actually decide to get into them, thus reducing your playfulness and your adventure, right? If you get caught up in your mind and you don't put the new idea with this ace twice out into the world, then what's going to happen? Well, these are going to fall by the wayside. But these are coming up in your unexpected. So what's that telling me? It's telling me, you know what? You are meant to be out there being playful, having new adventures, get out of your mind, perhaps be a little bit impulsive. It's okay to be a little bit impulsive every once in a while. Maybe not in relationships. Not, okay, let me back up because this is coming into me. If what you are looking for is a summer romance and that's it, and you're not looking for something real serious, you know what? Be impulsive. Be impulsive, be playful, go on an adventure, and enjoy. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that, especially among consenting adults. Go for it. But if your intention, Aries, especially those of you looking for a new romance, if your intention is something really long term here, you might want to think things through on a deep level and step away from the impulsivity that is being represented by all of this young masculine energy in your reading. Let's dive into your final general overall outcome. Where are we going? I'm getting called in 2 different directions. Are we going there, 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 there? Which one am I seeing in my mind's eye? Come on. Okay, we might be pulling cards from 2 different decks here. We're going to see. All right, final general overall outcome for Aries. For coming up at the end of June, what's going to be going on for Aries come the end of June? What's going to be going on? Oh my gosh, we have another ace. This time it's the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles is about a new beginning, particularly pertaining to your finances. A new business idea perhaps is just on the horizon. Perhaps it comes up in the last week or 2 of June. So be on the lookout for that, for a new financial or business opportunity. Maybe it comes from this new impulsive partner that you've got. It is possible, but also keep in the back of your mind that you do have the 7 of Swords, the 5 of Swords, and the 8 of Cups in your reading, Aries, indicating that If what you're getting yourself into does pertain to money and finances, you might want to be cautious, shall we say. All right. So I was seeing cards from two different decks, and here we have the Ace of Spring. Ace of Spring, yes, another ace. And that is coming up right next to the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Spring corresponds to the Ace of Wands. That is the Ace of Action. Do you know what? Oh my God, you have Ace of Swords twice in your reading. And now you have the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands coming out in your final general overall outcome. Aries, there is something big coming down the pipes at you. It is going to require you to take some kind of action in and around the latter half of June, possibly a idea, business venture. There is something that you're going to have to walk away from with that Eight of Cups. You're going to struggle walking away from it. But as you walk away from whatever that is, there's new opportunities that are going to present themselves. And they're probably going to present themselves because you watched this video and you are now in a place to appreciate your talents, get your talents out into the world. Get playful and enjoy the rest of the month of June. Please like and subscribe.